So, good morning to all. My name is Dia Mamadou, researcher at the Mauritanian Institute of Oceanographic and Fisheries Research. I will show you the results of the FarFish project in Mauritania. As you are undoubtedly aware, Mauritania and the European Union have had a long-standing cooperation in the field of exploitation and management of marine resources in West Africa. The Partnership Agreement for Sustainable Fisheries between the European Union and Mauritania covers several resources, in particular shrimp, demersal species, tunas, and small pelagics. This agreement with Mauritania is considered the most important in West Africa. The latest agreement gives the European Union the possibility of fishing 287,000 tons for a maximum of 98 vessels, and the economic contribution amounts to about 62 millions of euros. In view of all these elements that come from the long-term cooperations and an important fishing possibility, Mauritania will not stay out of a project like FarFish. As FarFish seeks to study the fisheries and the European Union outside its waters. Therefore, Mauritania has integrated this project that at first was initially focused on shrimp, but the lack of interest in this fishery by the European Union for several reasons that I will not cite here, resulted in the project quickly focusing on small pelagic fish and black hake to improve statistical data. Should be recalled that these two groups of species are most exploited species within the framework of the agreement between the European Union and Mauritania. During these discussions, we realized that there were many gaps in these two fisheries. The gaps that were identified at the level of small pelagics were related to the relationship between small pelagics and environmental forcing. The study of the value chains of small pelagics, the monitoring, control, and surveillance of these groups of species, and the national infrastructure that has been put in place for processing. Regarding hake, the gap that was observed was related to the ecology of the species. We could say this group of species, the discrimination between the two species of hake in the catches. Also, there was a lack of regional approach to fisheries management for these two group of species. If we could say the division for each species, actually. So there was a gap related to the impact from the other fisheries on hake resources. That is the bycatch of hake in other fisheries. As with small pelagics, there was also a lack of monitoring, control, and surveillance of this group of species, as well as a study of the value chains of this group of species. Based on these gaps, the project shared in response to these gaps, the FarFish project has identified actually and conducted and support or supportive certain activities for small pelagic activities related to collecting biological and socioeconomic data related to West Africa, developing an ecosystem model, holding an international workshop on small pelagics and environmental forcing in West Africa. Participation in COPACE workshops to discuss the regional approach, the dissemination of results, a network for small pelagic fish, and analysis of value chains of this group of species, as well as structures for their governance and identification of opportunities for improvement. As for the black hakes group, in general, they were made of two species. The The activities conducted and or supported by the project were related to the collection of biological and socioeconomic data on fisheries in the Mauritania economical exclusive zone and at the regional level as well. In the same way, a self-sampling initial program was established to separate the two species of hake. So basically, there was an analysis and recommendation of how to use the data, how to compare VMS and AES data to detect illegal fishing or IUU. The development of a tool that allows the assessment of stocks through limited data and the training of the IMROP staff in its use, and likewise the analysis of the black hake value chains, the governance structures, and the identification of improvement opportunities were also supported. Regarding small pelagics, they participated in a co-paced workshop to discuss the approach, a regional approach, the dissemination of results and the establishment of a network. The project also made possible to strengthen the training. In fact, an IMROP scientist is currently being trained in Iceland for a period of 6 months in the direct assessment of small pelagics. In addition, there is a doctoral thesis that is in progress on the relationship between small pelagics and environmental forcing in West Africa. What can be said is that the results of the FarFish project, including the new knowledge, data, and tools, will contribute to the sustainable management of the fisheries in question. This means that the data and knowledge acquired by the project must be consolidated, promoted, and disseminated. The model that links small pelagic fish to environmental forcing will be useful in the future, as will the DLM tool, which in other words is a tool that allows us to model or evaluate actions with limited data. What we can conclude, what we can say in general is that the FarFish project allows us to collaborate with the multidisciplinary teams and experts from Africa and Europe, which allow us to expand our knowledge and skills. The project brought us important results despite the language barrier that limited the increased participation of IMROP scientists in the project, plus, of course, the COVID-19. What we can say is that the continuation of the project will undoubtedly allow the consolidation of the achievements in the first phase and the study of other species covered by the protocols. So, thank you for your kind attention.